Welcome back, everyone. And this one is called Holy Crap, Batman. And you know why we're going to call it Holy Crap, Batman? Because we need a hero. We need a hero. We need a hero to the story. Understand something. Not one, well, I shouldn't say not one, but let's just say that 99 out of 100 parents do not know how to give a crap. They don't know how to give a crap for themselves, and they don't know how to give a crap for their kids. And understanding, potty training 101 is not done. Understand, every human being, as soon as you get here, has been dumbed down and made ignorant. Understand that. Every bowel movement is a computer printout. It is a computer printout. It tells you how you ate and drank water the day before. If you had a whole plant-based diet and you drank 3/4 of an ounce for every pound, and it was structured water and hot water, and you had 80%, you don't even need 80% of your diet, but even if you had 40% of your diet whole plant-based foods, okay, meaning fresh and raw and juicing and things of that nature, there's no disease. They can throw the blue light at us, the 5G, the GMOs, the chemtrails, but guess what? There would be no disease in your body, because disease means out of harmony, dis-ease, out of harmony, out of balance. That's all it means. There are no diseases, there are only symptoms, and there are only practitioners. The majority of the practitioners have been taught to allow the rot to go on with everyone. My God, you can walk into a medical doctor's office and have a gut sticking out that it looks like you're 12 months pregnant, and they won't say a word. They might say you need to lose weight, but you don't need to lose weight, you need to lose waste. You are rotting inside. The only reason why you're blown up, okay, is because you got gas ass, okay? And you got gas ass. And the reality is the good bacteria went bad, so now you got 85% bad bacteria and only 15% good, when it should be the other way around. And understand, the Royal Society of Medicine did a study, the longest study ever with the large intestine, and said a minimum of 85% of all diseases come from your large intestine. And soon as the Rockefellers, that own 51% of all pharmaceuticals, and pharmaceuticals are made out of petroleum products. Oh, wait a minute. It's the Rockefellers that own 51% of all petroleum products as well. And it's also, you know, your shoes that you think, those nice rubber shoes, they're made out of petroleum. So that's why you're never grounded anymore. I hope you know that. That's why everybody's getting sick. Your rubber shoes aren't made out of rubber. They're made out of petroleum. You didn't know that, did you? So I just don't wear shoes. I hardly wear any shoes. Do you ever see me walk here with shoes here yet? I don't come in here with shoes. Even my sandals, if I wanted to buy sandals, you know, even if you bought sandals, they're made out of petroleum. They control everything. That's why glass bottles went off the shelf, and now it's all plastic bottles. And then guess what? And guess what they do? Oh, you better recycle. And then, you know, in most cities, when you recycle, you do know it goes all into the landfill anyways, into the same place. It's just to make you feel guilty, and to just, because you're buying the stuff. Why are you buying the stuff? Well, that's all how could you find nothing in plastic? When I'm going to go to Sprout today, and I'm going to walk around Sprout, which is one of the best markets you can go to. And guess what? They're still ruling and screwing everyone. You walk in, and you think you're going into an all-organic market, and all the fruits and all the vegetables and are actually full of chemicals. That's right. But everybody, you know, oh, well, organic market. No, it has to say organic on it. And then, you know, I had some kids over, so I bought this product called Ripple, right? And then I got it home, and it was supposed to be organic chocolate, and it was supposed to be plant-based. I got it home, and there was canola oil in it, and all type of gums in it. So the reality is, I still let the little guys drink it. I would like to have gone. Now I woke up. Now I just know, okay, Daryl, just wake the hell up. And I mean wake up, okay? Because guess what? Any place that is financially successful, that draws in a large part of the population, will be poisoned. So they will take the products that never were poisoned before, and they will poison them. Do you understand? There are no rules when it comes to poisoning people, except if it's obvious. But there's not much obvious when only 20% of the population is capable of critical thinking. And guess what? Here's the sad part. only 2% that's of the population capable of critical thinking actually do it. So that's why I'm telling you that the planet's never going to change, but who needs it to change? It's a beautiful day, isn't it? You can find joy, happiness, and nature if you decide you want to. If you decide you need to live in the city, gritty city, where most of the 5G, the blue light is, okay, where everybody's crowded like rats, that's your choice. Oh, I don't have a choice. That's because you said you don't, okay? You can't see around the corner. I can't see what's out past that door. I can't see around the corner. The universe is big, and if you connect yourself to your higher self, God, creator, source, whatever you want to call it, and learn how to calm down and believe that you deserve, things are going to change. And until that happens, nothing changes. Nothing changes. Do you know how it feels to know that I'm going to get older and I am going to have energy and be pain-free all my life? Think about that. I am going to be 1 out of 10,000 people that are pain-free and energy. Oh, but because I'm different, I'll have people come on here. That's why I don't let TikTok come on and say anything, because they'll say, you're going to hell. Okay, and if you don't go to hell while you're here, you'll go to hell when you get there. You should see how lovely TikTok is to me. Because TikTok, they say nice things, or they've got all these trolls on there. Okay, and people just, and the haters love to come on that one. They just love to do it. Not that they won't come on Instagram or they won't come on Facebook, but you got to kind of ignore them. And what? You ignore everything you don't want to become, everything that you don't want to eat or drink or hang around with. You ignore it. You don't focus on the things you don't like, okay? Because if you focus on the things you don't like, you are going to bring down your vibration and you will be sick. That's why they call it disease, because you're out of harmony and out of balance. Are you guys getting that yet? Are you guys realizing that yet? Yeah, and most of you will never have enough money and never have enough time to love this beautiful body. How many people know that money doesn't exist? How many people know that time does not exist? And guess what? If time didn't exist, then if you had an imagination, you should be able to get everything done and everything that you want in your life, right? And imagination is the greatest gift we've ever been given. And understand, guess what? Most of you will never have enough time in the day to get everything done. I'm not trying to get everything done. I'm just trying to have fun and see if I can create a legacy and have adventure on the way and do things that nobody else has ever done before. Because why? Because I can. Why? Because I can. And because I'm going to have fun. And I don't care what the majority thinks, because the majority aren't thinking. And then people that they don't like the way I talk. Oh my God, you see how he talks down? I'm not talking down to anyone. Everybody has choices, but understand this. Here's one for you. Let's start here. The last time you had a really good bowel movement, how did you feel? Like, oh yeah, I'm ready. So then when you went on a trip and you were in your car, okay, and you didn't go poo the next day, were you fun to be with? No. Okay, and the next day you didn't go, were you fun to be with? No. So why didn't you make sure when you're in that car that you drank enough water and that it was structured and you put black diamond in it, and you took, if you couldn't make daily cleansing tea, why didn't you take the daily cleansing tea caps that don't have laxatives in them, don't have any stimulants in them? Why didn't you take 2 so you could have a really great poo that night? And why didn't you drink something really good and drink water? And then why didn't you stop like every hour if you're in a car for 10 minutes and go for a walk, okay, so that you could just have some movement? Why did you think that, you had to push through and not stop, don't get water, okay? And also, if you're going to buy bottled water, just know you're poisoning the living crap out of yourself. Every bottled water has poison in it. Say it.
Every bottled water has poison in it.
Okay, and almost every bottled water is worse than tap water.
Every bottled water is worse than tap water.
And understand this, you can filter your water, but guess what? You'll never get rid of the frequencies. But if you structure your water, you don't have to filter it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't. You can still filter your water, but structured water is the deal. It hydrates 1,000% more. So how's that going to help with your bowel movements and your cellular cleansing and cellular pickup of nourishment? Wow, really? You'll be able to tell the difference, because you could have two glasses of water. I don't care if it's distilled, reverse osmosis, tap water, or it could be the best bottled water, Fiji water. That's also poisonous. Did you know that? It now comes in a plastic bottle, no longer glass. Okay, so corporations sneak in, don't they? Or I should say the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Queen of England, and the rest of the scumbags. Okay? And I don't have any anger. I don't have any hate for them. But, they belong on the bottom of my shoe. They actually do nothing. They do nothing except they're parasites and they live off of us. And I don't care. I can say that and I'm going to say it and it's true. These people are parasites. They don't build the roads. They don't build the schools. They don't build the homes. They don't grow the food. They just steal everything. Okay? And it's not hard to steal it because most people are asleep. So here's the deal. Most people are what? Constipated on an emotional level and constipated on a physical level. Yes or no? Oh, I can't let go. I can't. I've been in the relationship for 10 years. Oh my God, it's so abusive. I know. Or I can't stop myself from bringing in the alcohol or bringing in the chips or the ice cream or bringing all the processed foods, the new and improved foods, because guess what? You're all drug addicts. See, most people don't realize that in every animal product, whether it be dairy or whether it be chicken or red meat or whether it's pork, 80% of all the antibiotics made in North America go into the animals. And if you eat animal products every day, you take 1 round of antibiotics every month. So when you say to someone, hey, are you on antibiotics? Because their bacteria is so messed up in their gut, their bowels are so messed up, their immune system's so messed up, and they'll tell you no. But what most practitioners don't think about is that the animals have more antibiotics in anything, and they don't have. Remember this? What is it? Why do you put antibiotics in your farm animals if they're not sick? Oh well, because we don't want them to get sick. No. Why do you put so much antibiotics in farm animals? Because we want humans to be sick. Yeah, but the farmer's not going to say that. The farmer's saying, well, we're regulated. We have to put antibiotics into them. That's what we're told to do to help so that the animal doesn't have disease. So understand, antibiotics create disease. If you're going to do antibiotics, just remember, whether you put it in an animal or yourself, if you're in a life-threatening situation, use them. It could save your life. But the reality is if you're doing them and you're not in a life-threatening situation, you're damn well going to be in one. Okay. So remember something. What you think, drink, and eat alters your bowel movements, and your bowel movements are a computer printout. So everybody, you got your practitioner's perfect day manual. Just know this, everyone. If you really want to know how to take the most massive personal action, we have a manual that's almost 400 pages, and that comes with a perfect day consult, which is $150. Think about it, $150. You get to have as much support as you want for 6 weeks from that master trainer. And if that master trainer doesn't decide to move to another country or get another job, you can be with them for as long as they're with us. And if not, you can call our 800 number for the rest of your life and call as often as you want, because health is a language. Okay, it's a language. So you know what? I love this part. So you go to a naturopathic doctor or a nutritionalist or a dietitian, and you pay whatever you pay, and then you walk away with a bag of stuff, and then you have an hour consult, and you can't get in touch with them. Okay? And if you do, they're going to charge you money. So who's going to do that? Nobody can afford that stuff, and it's totally built that way so you don't make it. The other thing is you have an hour consult, and then they don't give you a 400-page manual that you can follow. That no matter if you're from a pimple to a tumor, from a fever or anything like that, that you can take action for yourself right then and there. So that's what we need to do, is give power back to the people. Stop getting entertained and start getting trained on how to look after yourself from the moment you rise until you close your eyes. So the reality is that if we ever gave the power back to the people, these psychos, which is only about 150,000 people, have hogtied 8 billion. So the reality is, human beings aren't that smart, are they? Okay, but they can be, and they could be smart if they had smart beliefs, but they're so easily programmed. Now, when you don't poo right, can you think right? No. Okay, all right. So just know this, your bacteria are the most intelligent thing of a human being. You've got 50 trillion cells, but 500 trillion bacteria in you. And out of 500 trillion bacteria, how many people know that 99 out of 100 people 85% of that is bad bacteria and only 15% good. So this is why that 55% of the population will have stage 2, 3, or 4 cancer in their lifetime. This is why that 60% of the population will have heart disease in their lifetime. This is why right now that 86 to 90%, depending on what state you go into, okay, in the United States, or what province you go into in Canada, the averages are close to the same. People are pre-diabetic, otherwise adult onset diabetes, because we now eat 20 times more sugar than we did 25 years ago. And because sugar's in absolutely everything. So why don't you take a look if you don't believe me. Go start. Do not buy anything that's in a bag, a can, or a jar from any store. I don't care if it's called Totally Organic. It's not. It's just a name, okay? It's like this, okay? We call medical care health care. Are they health care? No, they're emergency care. So you'll buy into anything. Does anybody know that I always thought that Ducks Unlimited was actually, they were trying to save all the wetlands, okay, to save the ducks, but it was really to save the wetlands so that the hunters could go shoot ducks. So the reality is, you really don't know. They make up stuff, right? Everything's made up, and the majority of the population will never wake up. And if they don't wake up, they're definitely never going to grow up to what their potential could be. And understand this: anybody that has remember this: if you're constipated, you're putrefying. And the definition of constipation does not mean you're not going to the washroom. How many people know that? Well, that's the truth. So how many people here have felt that a little bit more could have came out? Okay, how many people have a bowel movement and you shut it down? You know what? So here's the deal. I just want you to tell you something. I would never, ever allow my kids to ever go to school again. They would never go to school, okay? They would never go to school. Now, the main thing that they want to teach your kids to do when they go to school is not allow them to go pee or poo so they can rot, okay? So if we can actually take a young child and tell them they can't go to the bathroom to urinate and they can't have a bowel movement, okay, so what happens is you shut down the urge. So after a while, the urge just shuts down. So now they're going to be rotting inside. Just know this, whether you want to believe this or not, but, you know, every fever that a child has, all you had to do was a warm water enema and the fever would be down in 5 minutes. And I'd like somebody to come up against me and challenge me. And I'll tell you, I'll tie you up in a knot and a bow and put you in the corner lovingly in 2 seconds. Because you know what? You're not coming from logic, you're coming from brainwashing. And when you should have been bowel washing. So the reality is then what happens is we constipate our children. And if you take a look, how many children now have a little bit of tummy? How many people know that 8-year-olds and around 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds now have fatty livers and cirrhosis of the liver? How many people know that 1 out of every 4 children are actually what we would consider for that age group obese? Okay, so understand that. How many people know that the obese population now outrule everyone else? So the reality is, I will tell you, in 10 years from now, the overweight and obese people will be 95 to 96% of the population. So there will be 4 people out of every 100. Okay, so that means that it's not normal. And the reality is, watch what you're going to find is, you're going to find that people that are overweight, they would say to me, you're too skinny, right? So, I mean, if everybody's overweight, and most people aren't overweight, are they? What are they? Overweight. They're overwaist. That's right. Do you ever know the waistline? Okay, the waistline is full of waste. And that's why they have the love handles, because if they didn't make the love handles, they'd be dead already. Because the love handles are storing the infection and the inflammation instead of going to mutation. Okay, so the fat comes all the way around here. And then what happens is, then they have the bellies that hang down and out. Well, that belly that hangs down and out is the transverse colon has fallen all the way down and over their belt. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about that in a few minutes. So now, if you weren't pooping in your pelvis, You wouldn't have swelling in your feet. You wouldn't have it in your legs. You wouldn't have neuropathy. You wouldn't have arthritis. I'm telling you the truth. Okay? You wouldn't have a bad case of pimples. Okay? You wouldn't have boils. You wouldn't have tumors. Okay? You wouldn't have adult onset diabetes. You wouldn't have liver problems. You wouldn't have gallbladder problems. Understand, you wouldn't have bloating. And how many people here know that pooping in your pelvis actually is responsible for 95 to 98% of all low back surgeries because you rotted out your back? Okay, so understand, if I don't have tone here, then that means my back has to work 10 times harder. How many people know that when you're picking up your grandchildren, picking up the groceries, getting off the toilet, going into bed, making love to someone, you're not supposed to use your back, you're using your abdomen? How many people even have any abdomen to use? So the reality is you've got no muscle tone in here. So if you have no muscle tone in here, this is called the core. For most people, the core is on the floor. Yes or no? Yeah, so understand something. The more that your transverse colon falls down, your stomach falls down. The more that your transverse colon falls down, you're squishing your small intestine, which is now putting pressure on your bladder, your prostate, okay, your ovaries, and your uterus. How many people know that most infertility is caused because of a scar tissue issue because you were pooping in your pelvis and the infection actually caused micro scar tissue in your fallopian tubes? And guess what? Don't come to us if you don't want to get pregnant, because we will reverse it. We will reverse it. We will reverse 95% of everything that comes to us, at least. And that's only if you believe in yourself that you can heal, because it's all about scar tissue and displaced calcium, trying to put out the fire, because the calcium your calcium only leaves your bones because you're so acidic you could go cancerous. So the calcium has to leave the bones. So if you've got osteopenia, osteoporosis, it's because you're using the calcium, because it's alkaline, to buffer down the acid. So because as soon as you become so acidic, you suffocate. Your cells suffocate. They don't get enough oxygen. And Dr. Otto Warburg received the Nobel Prize, okay, because of the cause of cancer, the only person to do it in history, and that was because of lack of oxygen. So what do you need to do to get up your oxygen levels? What do you need to do? If you had perfect circulation everywhere in your body, you'd have perfect health. If you don't have perfect circulation somewhere in your body, you call it a disease because you're out of harmony, out of balance. That means that you are infected there, so now you're inflamed. And how many people know that the psychological rules the biological, and every negative emotion is stored somewhere in some organ in the body? And in your perfect day guide, it tells you. So you can look at what a person has for a disease, which there are no diseases, just symptoms from people not being treated properly. And then you can go into your perfect day guide and you're going to go, oh my God, that is their personality. Oh my God, I do have hate. Oh my God, I am depressed. Oh my God, yes, I am sexually frustrated. Oh my God, you know what? I do not feel like a woman because my husband cheated on me. Well, that's why you've got ovarian problems. That's why your uterus is swollen. That's why you've lost the urge. So it's emotional, it's physical. So if I had emotional toxicity and physical toxicity because I think that I have good bowel movements, how many people do you poop with? Right? You should be a lean, keen machine. Your nipples should be sticking out farther than your tummy. You get it? And if not, you're already on your way out. Okay? So understand something. So we know that 25 years ago, 10 pounds overweight was obesity. Now it's 40 pounds. So I'm going to guarantee you something, that they're going to move it. By the time we get about another 5 years, that it'll be 60 pounds overweight is obesity. That's what obesity will be. Okay? All right? So just understand that. They're so accommodating, aren't they? It's so beautiful the way this all works out. We just feel so comfortable, with all of that fat. Now remember something. Fat is to protect you on an emotional and physical level. With most women, they will allow themselves to become fat. And they will, because now I'm not a turn on, because she was raped or sexually abused when she was younger. Now, if we could tell her that not every man wants to rape her, but her subconscious is locked in that, that if I stay fat, I'll stay free and everybody will leave me alone. So people are having their lives stolen. And the reality is that it's all about self-love. It's all about self-care. It's all about getting somebody to understand their subconscious and then going in into those prominent, dominant beliefs and getting rid of the garbage beliefs that we got from the second we got into the womb. Because most children, okay, by the time they get out, they're scared to come out, but they're glad to get out because they've been living in the middle of a sewer dump. Look at whether you believe it or not. Do you know how many women call me and say, I can't get out of bed, they won't let me because, I've got 3 months before I deliver, and they say I'm going to drop the baby. And that's because, guess what? The pelvic floor is rotting out. So what you get is infection. You poop into the pelvis. We're going to go into that in a minute. Once you get the infection in there, it creates the inflammation, which breaks down the tissue, and the tissue falls apart. And then it starts to rot out. So this is why you'll find there'll be cysts on the ovaries. Or what would you rather? Cysts on the ovaries, which is what? Cells that are dying and bad bacteria that are encapsulated in a bag of pus. Or would you rather ovarian cancer? Which one? Okay. All right. Would you rather a uterus that's swollen, okay, and getting really thick? Or would you rather uterine cancer? Which one? Would you rather an inflamed prostate that you can't pee telling you, or would you rather just cancer right away? And then the reality is, I really love that one. We'll get into it in a minute. I love this one. What do they test with men when they have prostate problems? PSA. Okay. So that means that we should check you women too, because you women have PSA. Now, when we get rid of the prostate, we can still check a man's PSA. So you're going to tell me that the PSA is a good thing to check when they have prostate inflammation? No. What you're going to check is how's their urine flow. That's the main thing. And how easily do they get an erection? That's another thing. Do you understand? And then why don't you just take a look, because if they've got a belly, it's pretty smelly down there, and it's rotting out the prostate. Now, does anybody know where the prostate sits? In the last 3 inches of the what? Large intestine. Okay, all right, and where do the ovaries sit? Just on either side of the last 3 inches. Where's the uterus sit? Right in front. So everything is in the neighborhood there. So don't think that you can poop in the neighborhood and not cause a stink with the rest of the neighbors. And you can even rot the neighbors out and they want to leave. Okay, so here we go. Let me just back it up here a little bit. Okay, all right, so as you can take a look right here, gut-brain connection. Well, does anybody know that gut-brain connection is not right? How many naturopathic doctors or functional medicine doctors actually say gut-brain connection? It's not. It's large intestine-brain connection. You need to get that. Now you got the problem. It's not the gut. What's the gut? What's the gut? So this is the gut? Isn't this the gut? What's this? What's this? Gut-brain disconnection? No. And understand something, your bacteria are the most intelligent part of a human being, not the brain. The brain's only intelligent if it has prominent dominant beliefs. I know some pretty stupid people because they got stupid beliefs. I know some pretty sick people because they got sick beliefs. I know some healthy people because they got healthy beliefs. I know some people that are very rich because they have beliefs that they can be rich, that everything they touch they can make money. And then I know a whole herd of people that have poverty thinking and they'll always be struggling to make money. Are we here yet? Are you getting it yet? Okay, I know this. I know you can't afford it. You don't have enough time or enough money. And it will never be that until it's a priority. And do you know what will be a priority? When it's too late. Or you're on the edge of the cliff. And you're down on your knees and you're begging God, please. And what does God say to you? It takes two. Stand up. Okay, now. So this is a picture of a normal large intestine, which is only found in 1% of the population. The rest of the population, the sigmoid is flipped down on itself, jammed up here. It's fallen, like this part here goes like this and sticks together. The majority of the population, this is fallen down at least 2 inches, and for another part of the population, it hangs down. Did you ever go to the mall? Because you can usually find it in the mall. It's very unusual. Okay? You go to the mall and you'll see somebody. and their intestines have fallen down and out, and they've got a t-shirt, but you can see this thing and it's hanging down below the t-shirt. It looks like an elephant snout. Well, they're not part of the elephant family. That's the large intestine now fallen down and out. It is dead. It is like a dead snake sitting in there. Okay? Yeah. You don't want to, okay, if he goes into the bathroom and you're at the mall, do not go in there after. Okay? Okay? Or wear a gas mask. Okay? Because he's got a disease and it's called what? Gas ass. Gas ass. You gotta say it fast, because if you don't, you'll be swearing. Okay. Okay, so 90% of the population has an autoimmune disease today. Abnormal's the new normal. Oh my God. You know what? Today, guess what? Okay, when I was younger, and this is true. Okay, if somebody had an illness, a disease, which is just a symptom that has never been treated properly, you'd say, so how's your health? Oh, I have diabetes. Today, you can have diabetes and heart disease and say, how's your health? You know what the only definition of health is today? I'm not in the hospital. That's the definition. You can brainwash, okay, a human being to eat anything, drink anything, say anything, and do anything. And if you don't believe me, wait until this summer's over and bird's the word, right? Okay, bird's the word. Guys, use your imagination because it's coming, okay? All right, so what you'll be hearing this fall is, I'm just doing my job again. You can get human beings to attack human beings anytime. And guess what? You can pay a human being some money and they'll poison their brothers and sisters. Won't they? Well, wait, they won't? Take a look at every grocery store, every corner store, and even organic supermarkets. Okay? All right? Look what we humans will do. We could have been so amazing. Until you love and care for yourself, you can't do it for anyone else. And if you did it for yourself, you would create a program so you would never hurt another human being. Did you get that? Yeah. So you go ahead and believe in the sinner syndrome, believe that you're a failure, and believe that you don't deserve things, and believe that this is as good as it gets, and believe that there's not enough room, there's not enough water, there's not enough food, there's not enough petroleum, there's not enough of anything. Just go ahead and believe that. You know, this is why I will love every human being, but I do not want to know every human being. I will be very selective, very selective. And the reality is people go, oh my God, your teachings are so powerful. There should be thousands and tens of thousands of people. There never will be. I mean, who can handle what I just said here? People can't handle this, but guess what? I'm out to actually wake up the 1% to the 1%. The rest won't. They're never going to. Have they ever? Did you ever try to change a family member? Did you try to give them something free to help to set them free and you saw it not even open, or they opened it? Or they, oh, don't worry, I'll get to it. I'm in the process. Okay, I've been busy. Okay, well, mind your own business. You know, people say, what can I do for my family? Well, why don't you change? Keep your mouth shut. Take all that energy and show them how high a human being can rise. Show them how high and how much a human being can grow. Show them that the next time there's a trauma in the family, that you're just like this. Hey guys, when you're done freaking out, just know I'm over here and we'll just get to it. And that's what I do. And that really pisses my relatives off. But it doesn't matter, because it was 3:15, it was time to get angry at someone. If it wasn't me, it'd be someone else. So the reality, if you're in an abusive relationship, whether it's emotional or physical, I guarantee you, if you leave that relationship and go find someone that will love and care for you as much as they love and care for themselves, you're going to find out that person will go find somebody else that they can abuse. It was never about you. You know what? If you're going to walk too close to a fire, you're going to get singed. Okay? If you're going to drink too much alcohol, you're going to get drunk. If you're going to have a relationship with a low vibrational human being, you're going to get whacked. Okay. Life and death begin in the large intestine. The good bacteria in your large intestine represent 85% of your immune system. The bacteria in your large intestine are known as the second brain. But how many people know that the large intestine do more thinking than any other part of the body? How many people know that the bacteria in your large intestine send 9 messages to your brain and your brain only sends 1 back to your body? Okay? And you do need to know this. The subconscious will never talk to the conscious brain. The subconscious is 90% of the brain. The conscious brain is only 10%. How many people know that you have to repeat something 10,000 times before the subconscious will actually allow it to come in? The subconscious is there, and it is a fear program. That's all it plays. And understand, people don't believe this and they say, you're making it up. I don't have any fear about anything. I don't have fear about dying, living. I know that I'm a spirit being. I know that that which created the universe has never judged me. I know that it's proud of me because, boy, the minute you get here, people are trying to kill you, even your parents. The reality is when you get here, you know, you're in survival mode. Why do you think that children sleep so long when they first get here? Because their spirit actually leaves, because they have to get adjusted to war. Okay, and you don't know what you're talking about. Well, because Daryl, they're young and they're growing. That's not true. You'll find that they will be able to stay here longer. They leave here. It's like, holy shit, what did I get myself into? I've got parents that fight with themselves, fight with each other. They don't know how to feed me. They don't know how to have love, unconditional love. Boy, you know, so I got to get adjusted here. I know I opted in. So the reality is that's why they sleep so much. They're vital spirits. They're trying to get adjusted to a very toxic, harsh environment. Okay, if you walk into a harsh environment, would you say that being born to human beings is harsh? Okay. You know, you got to have a lot of adventure and you got to be a little Braveheart to come here. Seriously, guys, wake up. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm not a genius. I just try to think of everything logical. And I'm not judging anyone because guess what? I am so proud of everyone that you're still alive. Okay? Well, come on. Blue light poisoning, 5G, GMOs. Every corner has a cancer store. Okay? Vaping, alcohol. Okay? All right? And guess what? 90% of everything you do is toxic and you're still alive. Now tell me your spirit's not powerful. Please. But you are rotting out because some of you really stink. Okay. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So let's take a look at it. So if we look here, okay, here is the most normal large intestine. Why would it be? So everybody gets this, right? Mouth, stomach, 22 feet for the small intestine, then 5 to 7 feet for the large intestine. And for those of you that really want to get into this, go into my library and watch The Meat and Potato Man. You'll see how a normal couple lives for 24 hours. And then go and take a look at How to Become Number One at the Art of Number Two. And then also go watch The Highway to Health. And then this one here, which is called Holy Crap, the large intestine, your holy grail. You do those and you'll know more than, you'll know 10,000% more than any doctor, and then medical doctor. And as far as any practitioner goes, you'll be able to go to any natural health practitioner, and I guarantee you'll be able to teach them some logic. Logic is what we need, and guess what? So what's critical thinking? Logic with imagination. You might want to write that down. So stay logical and never give up your imagination, and that's called critical thinking. Okay? Critical thinking is using your imagination to find a better way. Okay? And if you're logical, 1 and 1 will never be 11 again, I promise. Okay? So if you take a look, the large intestine here, your foodstuffs come here, and they have to go, okay? They have to go into the cecum. Once the foodstuffs come into the cecum, it triggers the cecum. And you see all these lines here? Well, those are called hostras, pouches. And it contracts like a snake moving all the way around. But what if you are the normal population and you think you're drinking the right water and you think you're drinking enough? Well, this is what happens. So don't believe me, but take a look at how many bowel problems, how many pelvic problems, how many hip problems, how many spine problems, how many knee problems, how many feet problems. Everything below is all caused from the large intestine, and eventually everything above. Because if I put a plug into the tub and I fill up the tub, it fills up from the bottom up. Fills from the bottom up. How many people know that the majority of lung problems are from pooping in your pelvis? Right. And also because you're terrified. Because if you don't breathe deeply, okay? Like yesterday, every day I try to, but I did. Let's see if we can do it tonight. So what I try to do is as I go swimming, and I'll swim in one spot. So really exercising in one spot. And I'll do that for an hour, and I'll breathe 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out. Do that exercise and light up your whole life, okay? Your breath is everything. And that's how you connect yourself to the source. You really do. Put a slight smile on your face and really deep breathing. In your nose, out your nose. Remember that your nose is for breathing, your mouth is for eating, okay? Now, so anyways, just think about this. How much tone does the average person have in their abdomen? They're flabby. There's not a lot of tone there. So the same amount of tone you have here is the same amount of tone you're going to have in your large intestine, which is a muscle. So it's going to try to, what? It's going to try to go up the hill. Then it's going to come across. And for most of you, it's going down. And then it's got to go back up. And then it's got to come down. And then it's got to go around the corner and down here. So this is why, how many people know that 60% of all cancer can be, if you took your finger, your pointer finger, and put it up your rectum, that's where you'll find 60% of all bowel cancer. Why would that be? Well, because it gets so dried out. Remember, this is an assembly line. Things need to move along. Now, if you didn't drink enough water, your bowel movements are going to sink to the bottom of the toilet, or they're going to have big bubbles on them because you went past fermentation to putrefaction, or you're going to have mucus strings on them, or your bowel movements are going to have cracks, or they're going to come out like small little rabbit turds. You're in big trouble. Remember something. Every person that has trouble peeing and has trouble pooing, they're rotting out. And that's so much inflammation is causing contraction, so it's causing scar tissue. And do you think the more scar tissue you get, the less circulation you have? And the less circulation you have, the more limp and the more dead that those tissues are going to be. Yes or no? Yes. All right. Okay, so now when we get around here, now we've got this blockage. Now, it doesn't mean that this person doesn't go to the washroom, but do you think this is important? How many, like I said earlier, you know, it's not what comes out, it's what stays in. How many people know that you would never have bad breath if you weren't rotting in your large intestine? How many people know that you'd never have smelly armpits if you weren't rotting in your large intestine? How many people know that you would never have vaginitis unless you're rotting in your large intestine? How many people know that you wouldn't have fungal problems if you weren't rotting in your large intestine? Now, let me explain that before we go any further. And I've done it before, but I got to do it again. So the people that eat the animal products are getting a heavy dose of antibiotics all the time, unless they're free range and organic. Everybody that eats dairy products is getting a heavy dose of antibiotics every time they do Greek yogurt, or they do cheese, or they do milk, or they do ice cream. Okay, it's all organic, okay? And the reality is, we won't talk about how it can't even be digested, but if it's not organic, you are getting, okay, if you eat animal products every day, you are getting what we would call 1 round of antibiotics every month that you would get in 1 week. So the reality is that we cannot ask people if they're on antibiotics and to try to find out why their bowels are so messed up, because if they're doing animal products, they're not organic and free range, okay, and the byproducts of these animals, then we know that they're getting the heavy dose because 80% of all antibiotics are given to animals. Now, remember, I just told you back here that they're not given to animals because they're sick. They're given to animals to make you sick. So you can believe me or not believe me, I don't really care. And you can get pissed off if you're a farmer right now. You can get pissed off if you're a supermarket person. You can get pissed off with whoever you are, but guess what? You're not going to get at me. The reality is this, when it comes to money and when it comes to beliefs, everybody says they want different, but then as soon as you try to give them different, they get pissed off at you. So the reality is I don't care anymore. I don't care, because I care for the 1% of the 1% that will be the leaders that will help to change this world. That's who I'm after. So the reality is, if I were to dumb down my talking, if I weren't to tell so much truth that I believe is truth, you know, I would have 10,000 people in a room right now. I don't want 10,000 people in a room. I'm not there to entertain them. I'm there to train them. I'm there for them to become leaders, not followers. I need a follower like I need a hole in the head. Okay, so now when the waste comes around, it's dehydrated, and constipation does not mean you don't go to the bathroom. Impaction. You ever hear anybody, somebody's impacted? Well, they haven't pooped for, do you know what impaction is? Does anybody know what that means? That means you haven't pooped for 1 day. That's the term, 1 day. If you haven't pooped for a day and you're going into the second, you're impacted. Well, what do you think it means? So I told you the story about my grandfather who had bowel cancer, and he didn't go to the bathroom for 10 days, and he's got bowel cancer, so we brought him home, and I had to put on plastic gloves and go in there with my finger. Do you know what it smelled like? Yeah. I had to wrap, around my face, okay? I remember it was a sweater, and tie it really tight, because my mother, she threw up doing it. She couldn't do it. So here's me, okay, 17 years old, picking poo out of my grandfather's butt. And understand something, most of you have poo that we could go in there and try to pick out, and it would be as hard as, because it gets mucoid. So the poo gets all mixed with the mucus. Remember, from your mouth to your rectum, it's called the mucus lining inside. Look at it, if we could shine, it's almost like you could shine a light and it come out your, yeah. Anyway, so it's a mucus lining, and it's only 1 cell thick. So when you get infected, you get inflamed, and then the cells come back. They can be replaced daily, but guess what happens after a while? They stop being replaced. You burn it out. Now, what happens is that's where you get the ulceration. That's where you get the polyps, okay? That's where you get the diverticuli. That's where you get the fistulas, okay? That's where you get the fissures, okay? So you've got 1 cell thick, okay? You got 1 cell thick from your mouth to your rectum through that tube. Now, those cells are so tightly knit, right? They got to be tight. They allow the nutrients to come through, but they don't allow the waste to come through. Now, what happens if you continue to have inflammation? Inflammation pulls everything apart. Okay, let me ask you a question. If you argue with your partner or your children, will it pull your relationship apart? It's causing inflammation, right? So look at inflammation, it tears things apart. So if you're inflamed emotionally and taking it out on others, it's going to pull the relationship apart. If you're inflamed emotionally and you bring in inflammatory foods, it's going to pull those tight junctions apart that are only 1 cell thick. When they start coming apart, what's that called? Leaky gut. Now, how many people know that 95 to 98% of all leaky gut is in the large intestine? It's not in the small intestine. And you know when people say, oh, I went to the doctor and he diagnosed me with SIBO. Well, that's called small intestine bacterial overgrowth. Now, why does you have bacterial overgrowth? Because the ileocecal valve, where the small intestine is 22 feet, and then the waste comes into the cecum to then go around the large intestine, which is 5 to 7 feet. Guess what? You backed up the dried fecal waste because you didn't drink enough structured hot water and you didn't do any plant food. So you got a cork in your butt and it got too dry by the time it got to the cecum. It was glicky, sticky. It kept the cecum door open because it's a valve, and it kept the valve open, and you backed up the waste in here. So the worms came in, the fungus came in, the bad bacteria, and now you got SIBO. So actually, it's not small intestine bacterial overgrowth, it's large intestine backup. So just because there's traffic coming into the city, how far do you know it's backed up? And understand something, it's not what you ate yesterday that's turning on you, it's what you ate months ago that's stuck in there in the mucoid, that the extra mucus that you made because of the inflammation. Remember, it's called the mucus lining, and if the mucus lining is inflamed because it's infected, then it's going to create lots of mucus. But guess what mucus? Did you ever try to pick a booger out of your nose and it was sticking? Okay, well, yes or no? Don't lie. Okay, so that same booger, okay, that little bugger, you've got a lot of them in your bowel. So when the mucus starts to collect in there and the bacteria get stuck on there, the fungus and the poo particles, they rot. Okay, there's not a polyp, there's not a diverticuli, there's not a fissure, there's not a fistula, there's not a hemorrhoid. That would never happen if you had a healthy large intestine. And guess what? When I did my first, no, not did my first. When I was 27 years old, I opened up the North American Institute for the Advancement of Colon Therapy. Remember, I now had 10 years of colon therapy training. When I was 19, I hitchhiked to Gary, Indiana with a pup tent, stayed in the backyard of Dr. Woods, and I became a certified colon therapist. And at that time, I had to go on watermelon because I didn't have enough money to eat. And at that time, on the way, I was so stressed out, okay? This is right after my grandfather, okay? And after my grandfather, I had colitis. So that's inflammation of the colon, because I couldn't let go of the thought that my grandfather rotted away, okay? And so what happens if you can't process something and let it go and you store it in you? So my grandfather died of colon cancer, so what should Daryl get who loves him? He gets inflammation of the colon. So now when I go to the bathroom, I got blood coming out. So here I am at a colon therapy training to be certified, and I've got blood on my stool. But the reality is after I left there, and I did the watermelon fast while I was there, because watermelon was really cheap, it was in the summer, and I just slept in the backyard. They allowed me to bring my pup tent, so that was cool. Today, you probably wouldn't get away with that. Things were so much different, eh? You know? They were so much different. Yeah. Anyway, so I opened up the North American Institute for the Advancement of Colon Therapy, and I still have the manual that I typed because there was no computers. We manually typed it. It's 380 pages. And it is the best colon therapy manual to date. You think I'm kidding? Well, when I was 32, the United States Senate was doing a study on bowel cancer, and they used my manual. Understand, I know my stuff. You know, I may rub people the wrong way, but I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to stir up the sugar, okay? Because I want them to smell the stench that's all around them and in them because they're being programmed. Okay, all right. So now we know. See, you see these little bulges here? Well, those are diverticuli. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Oh, like now. Okay, so let me move this. So I'm my own studio right now until we decide where we're going to set up our next clinic. I just love it, you know. So one of my staff, I still have some staff down in Mexico, and there's a guy named Nacho down there, and they said, you know, Nacho's going around telling everybody that he ran you out of town. You know, this is what people do, right? People just love, don't they love toxicity? Yeah, they just love it, you know. Anyway, so I don't know why I said that, but it's people will bring in toxic thoughts and toxic food this easy. And you know why? It's a distraction because they've been taught that they're either too dumb to look after themselves, right? Okay, all right? Or who would love me anyways? Or they're distracted because they don't even know how to get started with loving and caring for themselves. And that's all. So you never judge people. You have to stop that right away. The more you judge people, the more constipated you'll get. I'm serious. Watch out what you hold on to. Okay? We have to learn to let go of that which does not serve us. And, you know, having about 10 to 20 bowel movements backed up doesn't really serve a lot of good. Okay? All right. So here's the large intestine again. These are called diverticuli. So you have diverticuli, which one of these are called. Okay, then you have diverticulosis, which is the condition. And then you have diverticulum, which is like the condition as well. And then, okay, how many people know that 80% of the population over the age of 40 has diverticulitis? Not diverticulitis, but diverticuli, like this. Okay, how many people know that? You don't. I'll tell you right now that 80% at least of the population in here have diverticuli. You don't know it until you go to get what? A barium x-ray? What? What's it called? Colonoscopy. And guess what? 50 years ago, the medical system was told, stop doing colonoscopies because you're causing way more trouble and diseases than it's worth. So understand something. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Queen of England, and all these psychos, they feed off us. And they can tell everybody what to do because they hold the purse strings. Do you understand? And they also strategize. My God, how many people in your family have ever really strategized what a perfect day would look like on a financial, emotional, and physical level? Nobody. So you get what you get. You get what you get. Now these people say, look, we don't like each other, and they don't. But guess what? We need to come together because we can hog tie 8 billion people and get them to even put a diaper on their face for 3 years. And that's how full of crap they are. Seriously. And guess what? It's coming for you. We get to do it again this coming year. No, you get to do it. I'm not doing it. Okay, so now, what causes these diverticuli? Now, diverticulitis, does anybody know that that means outpoaching? Outpoach. And the itis, what does itis mean? Inflammation. So arthritis, diverticulitis, sinusitis, colitis. You can itis me all day if you want. And the reality is they're always going to use Greek names, right? Okay, so why don't they just say this? Turd pocket. Okay, you got a turd pocket. If I said to you, you have a turd pocket, okay, you'd say, well, how do I get rid of the turd pocket? Well, with hot water, at least 3 liters to 4 liters of hot water a day or quarts, and daily cleansing tea, black gold, getting on more of a whole plant-based diet, okay? And it wouldn't hurt to do the ultimate coffee enema, not just a coffee enema, but at least start with the daily cleansing tea and black gold. And understand something, as soon as you get the transit time going here, and as soon as you bring up the vibration of things that you're eating, drinking, and thinking, okay, you will heal the tissues, because the tissues in the tissues from here, right, too? Because you were holding on, holding strong. So the reality is what you'll see is that you'll see all of these you'll see these little capsules, anywhere from very tiny to the size of a cigarette butt. And that's the diverticuli popping out and you're pooping them out. Now, all that was stagnation, okay, that went to putrefaction, that went to inflammation, that then went to tissue degeneration, started to make a hole, and now the poo's getting caught in a little hole of from the bacteria that were called endobacterium, because the good bacteria went to bad bacteria, endobacterium, that gave off a gas Now you became a gas ass. The gas actually irritated, inflamed it, and then actually made the hole. But what, instead of eating all the way through, what your body will do is create this out pouch. Because you poop into your bloodstream, you could kill yourself. But we do anyways. Okay, so we do anyways. So what people don't realize, this is the pelvic bowl right here. And people are pooping in it from the moment they're born. Even before they're born, they're pooping in their pelvis. Because if your mother's constipated, what? You are constipated. If your mother's not constipated, the baby's not constipated. So, you know, you can believe this or not. But I have done a little enema on a 10-day-old baby. And if you could smell what came out of that baby had fungal rash all over it. I mean, it was over 90% of its body. And then, you know, and all we did was use like an ear syringe and just a teeny bit of water, rubbed its tummy. And if you smelled and saw the mucoid that came out, okay, and that rash went away. And just understand with children, if you do an enema on them, a warm water enema with tummy love or black diamond, the fever that you're going to freak out and run them to the hospital to get the antibiotics. Sometimes I just want to go back and hide in the rainforest. That's what I did last time I closed my clinic. And I went down there for 2 years. I couldn't take it anymore. I was never going to come back to this. Never. So, I had to change to do that. So, but as soon as you do a warm water enema, okay, so Shalou, ready for this? Her aunt and her mother called her up 3 days ago. You guys must know Shalou if you watched my stuff. Okay, well, both of them called up dying. They're both suffering from cancer. Okay? So guess what? They don't want to listen to her. So Shalou's been doing this stuff for a long time. But guess what? Now on their knees and they're begging God, please. And they've done the chemo, they've done the radiation. They want to do chemo and radiation on them again. And they're both dying from it. And I'm not telling you not to do it. Do whatever you want. It's your body. So anyway, she did a whole bunch of enemas on them in one day. She had 9 bowel movements, the aunt. Oh yeah. She left with a smile on her face and so happy. She did Cellsonic on them. She did non-surgical on them. You know, she did. And now she's got her cardiovascular bed there, the cardio med bed. So that'll turn anybody circular. That cardio med bed will actually take somebody that has a 92% blockage in their heart. And within 35 hours of being on the bed, you'll have a new set of arteries. That's how amazing the body is. It'll turn around impotence in 3 treatments usually. I could keep going and tell you all the stories, but you don't have to believe it. But guess what? We're going to have 250 scientific medical studies to prove that I'm right. How's that? And then the Cellsonic puts in 25,000 volts in a field into your body, and that decalcifies the mitochondria so they can spin again to make the ATP. And that's why it can shut down stage 4 inflammation in one treatment. So start bringing some of the power together and know that we're not powerless, but our beliefs have no power. Our beliefs have no power. Our diet has no power. Our exercise program has no power. Everything that the majority of the population does is meant to age them, not kill them right away, just age them so that, they can work really hard to 50 and then they can lose all their money before, and spend all their money just trying to grasp at straws. All right, so that's called diverticuli. Now we got to get down here and just remember something. Remember when we were all jammed up down here and it got big and fat? You know the poop where you went, and it came out and it was like this hard rock, and it just it splashed your butt because it's so heavy and dense. Well, because a poop this big was actually that big, and now it's dehydrated. Okay, so when you eat beef jerky can be like 1/4 of an inch, but it used to be 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So the same dehydration that you're doing with the inflammation in your tissues. You know what? Everybody know that old age is just scar tissue and displaced calcium? I mean, I rock it. I mean, I'll be 67 and we throw dance parties, and those dance parties go 5 hours, And I might miss 1 or 2 songs to go to the bathroom. Do you understand? It's here and here. I am going to live my life and nobody's going to tell me what to do. I am not going to do what the majority does. I'm not going to do what the government says. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. And understand something. These psychos aren't after me. They're after all of the obese people. All of the people that have diseases, which there is no such thing, just symptoms because, and guess what? Whether you want to believe this or not, these people have diseases because they have belief systems that they're not worth loving and caring for. You find out how much people are worth. How much did you guys have to struggle to pay the money to come to the course? That right now, that if I were to cut the course off, you'd go home and you wouldn't want your money back. And we're not even done yet. I guarantee you that I gave you more in the first day than you ever got before in your whole life information. And by the 3rd day, every one of you were enlightened, like, holy crap, what was I doing to myself? Don't tell me I'm wrong. I know I'm not. I've taught thousands and thousands of people. I did my first whole life coach when I was 28. And I pull off at least 9 to 10 of these a year. I know what I'm talking about. I don't see anybody else giving a money back guarantee for their courses or their treatments or their consultations. I'll do it. And it's not because I'm smart. It's because when you give the power back to the people, they're not going to be coming looking for their money when they give up their canes or walkers or wheelchairs and their drugs. And that's that. Okay. This here, it's called spasm. It's called colitis. It's called a stricture. And guess what? What is this? We just talked about it. Come on. It's a piece of beef jerky. Now, remember the last time that you were in pain? What did you do? You wanted to curl up in a ball. When you're in pain, if your arm's in pain, you're like this. If your hand's in pain, it's like curled up. Right, you turtle up. So, but this here is dehydrated. Just try to get these people off. One second. Great. Oh, I wonder which one is this? Let me see. I think that's Instagram. This one might be TikTok, or no. No. Oh, this one's definitely TikTok. There's 1,000 people on. This one. Okay, this one's Instagram. Okay, I'm going to have to stop it. Give me a second, everyone. Okay, I'm going to end it and restart it real quick. All right. Anyways, I'm just going to let Instagram back on. I don't know. It's not working. One second. Bear with me, everyone. If you guys have to go to the bathroom, go ahead and do that. Okay? Because I'm sure after this talk, you have a bowel movement you need to get rid of. Okay. I'm going to start right away, though. Right away. I'm not stopping. Okay, airplane mode. Now we'll try it. Thanks for your patience, everyone. I just, I don't want to cut people off if I don't have to. All right, okay, we're back. All right, back like a fart attack. Okay, so we were here. So just remember something. It doesn't matter whether it's in your large intestine, whether it's in your joints, whether it's in your muscles or your organs. Inflammation is going to create scar tissue formation in beef jerky. And understand this, every organ, okay, every ligament, every tendon, every muscle, and every joint can all come back to its original form. But first of all, There's two things you need. It's teamwork that makes the dream work. So you actually have to have faith in the invisible. Okay, my source, my creator, my God, whatever your source, creator, God is. And you have to have a belief in yourself. So I have a lot of people coming and saying, okay, I will heal if it's God's will. And understand, those people usually don't make it. And I'm not trying to be a smarty here. They don't make it. Okay? You know, you are the spirit. You're created by God, but you're given a body, okay? And that is a rental. And if you're not going to respect yourself, love yourself, and care for yourself, don't tell me someone's coming to rescue you. There's no one coming to rescue you, okay? Listen to me. God could be the father, the mother. I don't know what that is. I just know it's a higher energy level than I couldn't be able to look at it. It'd probably blind me because I don't think I'd be able to stand it. It'd be so bright. But the reality is this. I got 4 children. I've got children that have had alcohol problems, drug problems. Like, you're not going to have that kind of problem when you come down to the swamp, okay? Because you know what? They want to fit in. Okay, the reality is this. If my kids say, Dad, save me, I can't. I've rescued them over and over again. I have a daughter that I love with all my heart. I love all my kids with all my heart. I love all human beings with all my heart. But the reality is this. She's been struggling for a long time, and I'm not trying to embarrass her right now. This is life, so get it. Oh, well, if you're so smart, Dr. Wolfe, why would you have kids that are having drug problems or alcohol problems? Oh, I don't know. Seriously, let me tell you something. Nobody rides for free. But I'll tell you what. First of all, you feel guilty being a parent, so you keep on rescuing them, giving them money, and derailing them so they could go back at it again until they're done. Understand something. I will never desert my kids. But everybody in your life that you love and family members, you have to wait until they're ready. They got to be ready. Doesn't mean you don't do intervention. Let them know you're there. You can come. But the reality is go ahead and throw thousands of dollars at it. Look I've been down the road twice now. 2 out of 4 kids. And you can tell me, well, guess what? He's not very that good. You know, I've had 5 kids and none of them have been like this. Well, that's nice. That's great. Everybody's got their own journey. And the reality is this, and I will say this, well, thank God I was their father, because there was no judgment, no guilt. And I'm there. So I can tell you, something went down big. And you know what? I'm always coming from my heart, and I am never going to try to impress anyone except that which created me. And the reality is I do it right. I'm going to always do it right. All you got to do is process through your heart. There's a God spot in there. And make sure that you're attached to that. And understand this. How am I doing? Doesn't matter. What's going on out there? What's going on with my family? I will be in the present moment. I will own it. I will not suffer for my children, but I will be there. I will stand up for them. I will hold the line for them. And I will be a good representation of what they'd like to be someday. And that's all I can do. Well, I've done a lot more. You know, the reality is once you know, because I check in with my God, okay? Because everybody's got a different perception of God, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and you know what? Yesterday was my day to move and to make everything happen for her. Yeah. You know what? Mind your own business. Stop trying to save people. Mind your own business. What work do you need to do on yourself? I see a lot of miserable people around. A lot of people that believe that they're only allowed to have a quarter cup. A lot of people that believe that that's all the relationship they deserve. I'm never going to give up on anybody. But I'm not going to stick my nose in until it's the right time. Maybe you might want to learn from that. Maybe you might want to take all your energy and bring your vibration up so high and go, have that person go, oh my gosh, how did you do this? I want some of that. You know what you do? You go around telling people how to live their lives, and meanwhile, yours is a mess. And that's what everybody does. Oh, it's because I care. No, leave them alone. Get your own act together. Okay? Be a lean, keen, intelligent, okay, love machine. For yourself first and foremost. Okay. Let's see, what's the scoop on poop now? So this is just a piece of beef jerky. Okay, now are you ready for this? I don't care if you got this. We're reversing it. Oh my God, I got diverticulitis. They said it could lead to cancer. Well, it could. Are you going to stay the same? Are you going to keep doing the same thing? Are you going to go to the same practitioner? Are you going to go and have them cut out a piece of your large intestine or give you some drugs or put barium, which is cement, up your butt to try to tell you what's going on? Or do you just want to eat right, think right, live right? Please, quit being a drama queen. I have not been to a doctor since I was 17 years old. I am the test every day. Listen, nobody's sticking their fingers in my mouth or up my butt. And understand something. You want to be prodded and poked like some animal? You go ahead and do it. You know, you're created by God Almighty. Just act like it. All right? I'll tell you right now. There's never been anybody in my family, whether it was my wife, my children, okay, the girls that ever went and took their breast into the hospital, have it smashed and then radiated. I said, guys, you don't need to do that. You can save a lot of time. Just throw it into the microwave for 2 minutes. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with you? That causes cancer. You know what? If you want to learn how to have the best breasts in the world, okay, then come and take our course. Okay, we can do non-surgical on your breasts, and your nipple will be standing up an extra inch higher because of the scar tissue we got rid of. And it's all about circulation. And wouldn't you like to know how to massage and get rid of all the knots and the calcium deposits in your own breasts? Wouldn't you like to know that? Wouldn't you like to know why your breasts are toxic? They're fat. And guess what? Infection and inflammation goes to fat. And if you are stressed out or you are burnt out, your body goes, well, there's 2 storage tanks up there. Let's throw the shit in there. And then if you're constipated, you're backing up your lymph that's supposed to dump into your large intestine. And if you can smell and your armpits are smelly, then you're pooping into your boobs. Your boobs are a magnet because they're made out of fat tissue. There you go. I'm kind of a boob guy, okay? And a bum guy. And a tummy guy. Okay, all right. So now we talked about this one, so let's move to this one. So now we've got impaction here, right? And then we've got colitis here. So now what they're going to do is they're going to come in and they're going to cut right here. And they're going to take out about 6 inches, right there. Now when they do that, and this heals, there's going to be tons of scar tissue here and tons here, but they're going to put that together and sew it. And then guess what? Oh, isn't this nice? With that scar tissue, you have a good chance of having a tumor there now. Remember that scar tissue is like beef jerky. And surgery causes more scar tissue than anything else. Everybody out there, think about all the surgeries you have. I will give you a money-back guarantee that you will be set free if you go to see any of my Wolfe Non-Surgical therapists, whether it's your knee, your ankle, or whether it's your spine, or whether it's your breast. It doesn't matter. Whether it's your neck, whether it's your hand, I don't really care. The reality is guess what? After the surgery, you go, well, I don't have the pain anymore, but guess what? I don't poop right. Or I feel like there's something wrong down there. Or you get the surgery on your back and you're stiff and you don't have any mobility anymore, but you don't have the pain. Yeah, I've got to love that one. Guess what? All of this can be reversed, and they are screwing us over. Emergency care is for emergency. It's not for daily care. It's not called health care, but keep it if you want it. I'm not trying to offend you, and don't get upset with me, because don't worry, I'm not going to come and tell you anything. You can go to your medical doctor that knows nothing about eating and drinking and thinking. You can go to your medical doctor that wants to give you drugs, radiation, chemotherapy, and surgery, and God love you. Okay. All right. So now they're going to cut this out, going to put this together. You're going to have scar tissue here. That scar tissue is going to cause another block here. Now you're going to have bowel problems for the rest of your life. And then this is going to grow adhesions and wrap around your prostate. You go and get surgery like that, you're going to get chances of you having prostate problems, not just inflammation, but cancer, okay, are really big. You're probably not going to be able to get it up again because this chokes off the circulation in this area. And if you're a woman, you're going to end up with ovarian cysts, endometriosis, or fibroids, or you're going to end up with infertility, or you're going to end up with fibroid tumors, okay? And guess what? All of this gives hip problems. I hope you guys know this. When I was younger, well, forget younger, 25 years ago, there was hardly any hip problems. 90% of all the food that's in the supermarket was not in there 25 years ago. But 90%, but we can go back 90 years. If you go back 90 years, 90% of all the diseases never existed that exist today, and 90% of all the food that's in the supermarket never existed there either. So just know where it's coming from, and it's also the blue light poisoning from your phone, from your TV, because you need Tesla eyewear. These are the only glasses that are going to protect you, and everybody needs these. When I'm on here, I won't wear them, but when I'm on my phone, I wear them all the time. Computer, I go to a movie, if I watch something on the computer, if I'm in a place and it's got LED lighting, I wear these. Blue blockers don't work. That's a joke. These are going to cost you around $500 to $600. But guess what? They're going to turn the blue light and they're going to turn the 5G frequencies into healing. It will actually heal your brain. And if you don't believe me, you wear these continually. You can buy them now, where you can actually get your prescriptions in, and it's magnetic, and you put them right on. But here's the deal. They're called Tesla eyewear on my website. Read about them. But guess what? If you started wearing them all the time, guess what? You'd have to go in 6 weeks to 3 months later and get a weaker prescription. Because guess what? Glasses don't help your eyes heal. They're arcane. They're arcane. How many people know I wore prescription glasses? I had perfect eyesight. It's all in the mind, and it's all in what you eat, think, and drink. Look at it. It's one thing for me to try to sell something and be full of it, but I'm not. I don't need to lie about anything. Well, whatever, they're doing implants, but they're doing implants because cataracts. There's 10,000 teenagers getting cataracts per day now, diagnosed. 10,000 a day. That's all blue light poisoning. And guess what? You don't get a cataract because you've got eye damage. You get a cataract because your brain is damaged. Did you know that? Did you know that your eyes don't see? Your eyes only pick up light and frequency. Oh, wait a minute. What did I tell you earlier about food? The only thing that you get out of food is light and frequency, and it decides how healthy you're going to be. So your eyes only pick up light and frequency. But what if they were picking up 12 noon light all the time? That means it messes up your circadian rhythm, and you're only supposed to have 12 noon light for 1 minute. Now, did you know that after 3 minutes of being on a phone this close, okay, and working on your phone, or going on a computer for more than 15 minutes, guess what? It causes brain damage. Where do you think the tinnitus is coming from? Where do you think the eye problems are coming from? Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. So now we're over here. Let's move this again. There we go. We're almost there. Okay. So just understand this, everyone. We'll be coming out with an app called Touch. And when that app comes out, you'll be, or if you ever want to find a Wolfe Non-Surgical therapist to get a perfect day consult, or if you want one, you can go online to consultations, or if you want to get Wolfe Non-Surgical, please call us and we'll tell you somebody in your area. And guess what? I give them a money back, that if you wanted your money back, I pay them. That's how powerful this is. And some of these people only came to the course once, and that was 12 days. So what I say is, if you don't believe me, then anybody out there that does body work, if you can't fix someone, you send them to the people that I train, and they've been trained for 12 days and tell me the technique is not powerful. And then if you come back 3 times, you become a master trainer. And if you come back the second and third time, it's 20% off the second and third time. Then you go on our Mac Practitioners portal. If you're new on here, just know this: you can actually start with us and go all the way through and get your doctorate in natural medicine and in indigenous medicine. And this is looked at by the higher thinking universities around the world. Okay? So this is who we are. Okay? So anyways, this here would be a double stricture, you see? So now what they would do is cut on this side and then put this together. And then we're back to the same old thing. Do you think that this tissue is damaged here, and this is? Do you think that we would cause more inflammation and scar tissue in here and in here by cutting this? Are you like crazy? Your cells freak out. Your cells will actually freak out. They will freak out as soon as you put a knife to them, okay? As soon as you put a knife to those cells, they will freak out so bad, because your cells have a backbone, they have a spine, they have a brain, they have a heart, they have a liver, they have a spleen, they have everything that you do, and they have emotion. And when you cut into those cells, instantaneously, the cells contract, and they actually create a thick lining on outside the cells to protect themselves. And so now your spirit energy can't come through properly. You think that might mess you up a little bit? Remember something: the more scar tissue you have, the less that your energy can flow, the blood can flow, the lymph flow. If I have this, these are cement walls here. If I stand behind that cement wall, you're on the other side, the transmission is not going to come through right, is it? If I stand in front of the window, it's going to come through better, isn't it? So understand something: the more displaced calcium you have in your body, the more scar tissue you have, the less your spirit energy can flow. This is real science. This is real science. And the only true science is called self-love. You know, you can go around looking for love, but you're going to get it in all the wrong places. Because if you totally loved yourself, you would be thankful, which means you'd be thankful all the time. And understand something, okay? I so am grateful for what I have. But guess what? I hope you know that I'll never have enough. And I'm not talking about enough money or enough houses or stuff like that, but I'll never have enough. Why would I have enough when I know that I have unlimited potential? As what? As a product of God Almighty. And you know, most of you have just kissed your potential goodbye. You've limited yourself to this piece of meat. This is just a meat suit so that you could come down here and see if you could master your emotions when everybody is trying to run them and control them. Have you seen anybody control my emotions in this room? It's never going to happen. I don't care if there's a police at the door, the government's at the door, but they're not going to come to the door because they know that I know. I know that most of their laws are just rules for fools. And look at me talk like this. This is not me being cocky, wanting trouble. They're not after me. They're after the ignorant. They're after the ones that are so scared that when they say, take the diaper off your butt and put it on your face, they'll do it for 3 years. And they're going to do it again. And understand something: these people, they don't have the power of love. They have the love of power. Okay? They don't have money problems. They can print money because it doesn't exist. And they can use all the money against us. And then they can tell us that we're going to leave $18 billion worth of war equipment that the taxpayers paid for to go start a war for them in another country. But nobody's going to do anything about it, because what can I do about it? You know that if you were to stop poisoning yourself and your family, we won the battle. if you were to stop listening to them? You know, what do you do? What would you do if you believed that somebody was just full of BS? You don't listen to them, do you? So what are you doing? Because when you're logical and in the present moment, you know that these guys are just full of it. They're full of it. And you know what they've learned? They've learned that they can be lying to your face and murdering your family, and all they have to do is not lose it, even though you're calling them down. Do you ever notice with Trudeau or Biden or any of these other guys that, and when people get angry at them, it's like, well, you know, this is what we have to do to protect you. You know, and guess what? You've never been trained to learn how to manage your emotions, so you lose it, and then everybody's going, what an idiot, what an idiot. All you had to do was stay calm. But the best thing that you had to do is mind your own business and love and care for yourself unconditionally. And know that there is no supermarket that you can trust. There is no health food store you can trust. There is no doctor you can trust. Don't trust me either. Look for logic. Look for truth. Look to get whatever information you can, and then get me out of your life. Well, no, because you need to take your life back. I don't want a follower. I want a leader. I want you to say, wow, thanks a lot, Dr. Wolfe. I'm emotionally and physically more stable than you. Bugger off. Got it. You're not getting any more of my money. That's what we need. And if we had that, I would really have a better time. What do you think? Look at guys. Where do you think my money's gone? Touch is going to cost me $250,000. I don't own a house. All right? My library cost me $175,000 to build it. And it's free. The library, there's no library like that, self-care, self-love library. What do you think this is about? This isn't about you thanking me either. You never thank me. You thank yourself. Understand something. Find your passion, find your purpose, find your genius, and gift 1 million people. And guess what? You'll have all the money and have all the adventure you ever want. But go back and dust off your dreams. Okay? All right, where are we here? Let me see. See if I... Which one am I at? This one?
Second degree.
This
Below
one?
it, yes.
Okay, I'm right here. Okay, all right. I don't know where I am. I have to do this. It's not that I want to be in the picture, but they might want to know that I'm making faces at them. Okay, so understand something. This is what people are suffering almost the most, okay? Now, I'm down and out. I'm depressed. Okay, so that's it. I'm down and out. This is falling down and out. I'm depressed. So keep telling yourself that. Now look at this, guys. You want to see something? This is the transverse colon right here, right? Now, the transverse colon is supposed to be coming across just like this, right? It's supposed to be 8 inches higher, 9 inches higher. That's how far it drops. Now, you've got your small intestine being squashed down here too. But here's the deal. How many people know that the transverse colon was also helping the stomach to be held up? So now the stomach is fallen down 4 inches. And now the stomach used to be on an angle like this, so the hydrochloric acid would be more here. So now when it's straight down, your stomach falls down, you're only getting the hydrochloric acid concentrated at the bottom. And that means you're now not getting the hydrochloric acid mixed with your food, so now you're going to rot. That's it. So if you don't want to get that transverse colon pulled back up, you know that this here, hold on, see if I can get it. There it is. Okay, there it is. How do you like it? Oh, that's just so normal, eh? Or, it's hanging down here, right? Or you can't see your feet, okay? Or it's sticking out and you've got that beach ball that you swallowed, right? This is all falling down and out. And the people that look like they have a beach ball, guess what? How many people know that 95% of the people that go to the hospital and are rushed there for a heart attack have a fart attack? It's just gas rising. The same thing that causes the plaque on your teeth is the poop particles because hot air rises. Where do you think plaque comes from? Okay, because you have your own manure pile and hot air rises. It's a hot air balloon. That's where it comes from. You don't have gum disease, you have bum disease. Okay, now, so the transverse colon drops, so does the stomach. But now, when it does, I'm going to show you. We'll bring that back up in a second. So look at this. Oh, this is really good, eh? Oh, yeah. You're already tired. You already are fatigued. You are already feeling like this is dead in here. Or it's a terrorist living in there kicking the crap out of you. Trying to kick the crap out. Okay? Now, so what happens is, when this falls down, would you say that this, if it falls down, it's got lots of tone? Would you say that it might be a screen door in a submarine and now you're really pooping in your pelvis? Would you say that? Oh, yeah, you are. And that's why that, again, you may not like this, but 95 to 98% of all low back surgeries are caused because you pooped in your pelvis. Do you know where L1, L2, L3, and L4 and L5 are? Right here. Right here. And guess what? The poop is coming in. Remember what I told you about the autoimmune disease is like a screen door in a submarine, and you burnt out that 1 cell thick now, and you ripped it apart? Well, guess what? Now you're pooping into your body. So now what happens is, guess what? If I'm right, then you've got infection. If you've got infection, you got inflammation. If you've got inflammation, you're going to have scar tissue formation, because inflame means you're burning the tissues. And if you have that, that means that you're pulling the calcium from your vertebrae. So now you're going to calcify around the area. And guess what else? Because the cartilage it doesn't have a lot of circulation in it already because of the inflammation, the cartilage gets thinner. But guess what? All the fiber's still there. Remember the meat that we made into beef jerky? Now it's only this big? Well, guess what? They tell you, well, you know what? Yeah, the discs are almost gone. You're bone on bone. Okay. I've had 3 people since I've been on the tour that were booked for surgery for low back. I had a guy in Calgary that was just up there. I worked on him for 45 minutes. And I told him it'll be the most painful 45 minutes you're going to have, or you're going to surgery. He was booked for, I think, 10 days or 2 weeks. Guess what? I said, do a couple things you can't do. So he tried to lift up his knees. He couldn't do that. I said, try to touch his toes. He couldn't do it. Tried to do a pelvic squat. He couldn't do it. When I was done, he could do it all. Surgery's canceled. Got another lady, okay, that I just did just the other day here in Stewart. And she hasn't done a pelvic squat for 10 years. I don't care if you believe it or don't believe it. So I went in and worked around the SI joints, did the sacrum, did L1, L3, L4, L5. She had a calcium deposit on the top of her hip, okay, that was actually causing all the pain to come down. So I did all of that, and guess what? I said, now try it out. She went down, did a squat, a complete pelvic squat, right down to the floor, and she hadn't done it in 10 years. Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyways, so now you're rotting out your spine. So the reality is you can bring the disc back, you can bring the bone back, you know. I'll tell you what, how would you like to do this tomorrow? Shall we play a video, shall we play an audio of the top spinal surgeon in New York? Have you guys ever, no, you want to hear it? Sure. Okay, well, we'll do that tomorrow morning first thing. And then we'll let you guys listen if you want. And then I'll explain something to you. And the surgeon's not a liar because he knows what he knows. He's not lying. He's not lying. He doesn't know what I know. Hardly anybody knows what I know. I had to figure it out myself, okay? I said I want to be different, and if I want to be different, then I got to think differently. Okay. All right, where are we? Oh, yeah, right. So here we go. Atonic transverse colon. But look at this one. This is the one, okay? This is the one, okay, that every obese person has, and every person that's totally out of shape has, and every person that loves eating crappy food. Now, guess what? I like to call this one Death Valley. Well, why? Well, because the poop's got to come up here. Look at the tight corner it's got to come around. How do you get a turd around there? And then we already know you don't drink enough water. We already know that you eat processed food, sugar, flour, dairy. We already know you don't food combine. We already know that you have a low vibrational attitude about yourself. Or why would you be in this situation? So now then it's got to come down into the valley. Oh my God, little turd says, what is that? The turd that could? Okay, so here's the turd that could or should. Okay, so he's trying to get up here, and then he's got to go around the tight corner, come down here and get out. Wow, by the time that happens, you should have a diamond. Okay, because coal will turn into a diamond the more impactful it is. Okay, so when you start pooping out diamonds, I'd say then it's worth it. Okay, but the reality is this person, their life's already over. Oh, they got no sex drive. Oh, they ain't getting it up nowhere. Okay, they're so stiff. They've got poor circulation. They don't have any digestion left. Everything's rotting inside of them. So they would need non-surgical. Okay, they would need Wolfe Non-Surgical, because you know how much adhesions are going to be in here from all of that weighing down in here? Okay, that person's already got ovarian cysts, endometriosis, bladder infections, vaginitis. I mean, the vagina might probably by this time smell like fish, because the problem is there's so much stagnation in here and rotting. And this is why vaginal infusion for women is a lifesaver. You all should be doing vaginal infusions at least a couple times a week. And if you've got any trouble right now, you should be doing them daily. And then also embracing the ultimate coffee enema. So go take a look at that in the do-it-yourself guide in the library. Okay? All right, let's keep moving. Hey, guess what? We're only going to finish and then we're done, guys. Woohoo! Get rid of Daryl. I got it. Okay. Yeah, I feel the same way about you. Okay. There. Now let me see here. Okay, all right. Now let's see. How far can I go? How far should I go? Let's do it this way. Can you help me?
Yes.
Bring him over. Mm-hmm. We'll try not to give you a headache. Okay, let's do it this way. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way, and then we'll finish this today. Okay. All right, let's see. Am I doing it right now? Okay. All right, so we made it to here. So here, good, I can see. Okay. This one here, just here. A little more. Okay. Good enough. It's good enough. That's what they said. It's good enough. Good enough. This is what happens when you bring your whole studio. Okay. So here's a polyp. Does anybody know what a polyp is? What is it? It's an internal wart. Okay. And how do you grow a polyp? Well, what you do is you get a bunch of manure and you put it in the large intestine and you let it sit there and rot. You let it rot so much that you get these growths. These polyps are actually taking on poison so that you don't have bowel cancer. Now, these polyps will go away if you do daily cleansing tea and black gold. You do lots of hot water. You get a perfect day consult. That's what everybody needs to just get the consult from one of you guys or get it from us. So that's all people need to do. But the reality is as soon as you get the stagnation, everything is about flow, isn't it? Flow, let it go, right? Okay, so a polyp is an internal wart. So you know what I would do? I know that you guys are wrong. Because do you know what causes polyps? I just made that up. What causes polyps is lack of surgery. So we want to go in there and snip so that we bleed and so that we can get some poop into the cut so that it can really poison the whole area. You know, the polyps will just leave. They're there to save you. You do know that the worms are there to save you. The fungus is there to save you. The tumor is there to save you. But if you don't change enough of your personality, you'll never change enough of your reality and you will pass away from it. Because a tumor is just a storage shed. The polyp's just a storage shed. Okay? This is all just body talk. Okay. Next, fissure. So now I got a crack right at my anus. Well, the crack comes because you're so dehydrated and you're so dry. So when you're dry and you've got this hard poop coming out, because it's dry too, it's going to come out and you're dry, you're going to cause a crack here and you're going to rip the tissue. So that's a fissure. Okay, next one is a fistula. Oh. 1 out of 10 women have a fistula and don't even know it. And, yeah. You know how many times people will call me, women will call and go, you know, it's really weird, but when I urinate and I go to wipe myself, sometimes it smells like poo, and it's brownie. And I go, yeah, that's because you're pooping in your vagina. So what happens when you've been constipated and holding on for so long, and the poo gets stagnant, it actually, the acid from it, okay? Do you ever walk into a barn, a manure barn, that had a lot of manure from cows or pigs? It'll burn your eyes, won't it? It's pneumonia. It'll actually eat a hole through your intestine, that same thing. And then you'll be pooping in your vagina. So, yeah, okay, I don't want to get into all the things that could happen, but just think, should we have any poop in our vagina? No, I don't think so. Okay, so anyway, so that's what's a fistula, and then an internal hemorrhoid, and then we'll talk about an external. Well, an external hemorrhoid and an internal hemorrhoid happen from the same thing. It's really like, it's really deep, okay? This is how they happen. I gotta get it out. And what you're doing is you're using your diaphragm to push down, and when you're pushing down really hard, and if you had problems with your poop coming out, does that mean that the poop you're absorbing into that tissue if it's just sitting there? Well, if the poop is sitting there and you're absorbing into your tissue, is it getting stronger or weaker? So if it's the tissue's getting stronger if the tissue's absorbing poo. Wow. You must be from planet poo, where you guys live on that stuff. Okay, so the reality is that now the tissue's weaker, so when you use your diaphragm to push down to squirt it out or push out the gold nugget, okay, understand something. You're going to blow your anus out because the tissue's too weak. Okay, understand this. Do you know how many women, their uteruses are falling out like cuckoo clocks? It's an epidemic right now. Do you know how many women are losing babies because their pelvic is actually rotting out and they can't hold their babies? And it's rotting out because they have a rotten diet. That's it. And then they have rotten health care. That's it. Because there's only self-care, not health care. You should be able to look after yourself. The only time you should be able to go to a doctor is if you had a sports injury or a car accident. That's what they're good for, yes? But understand something, they're good for a lot more. We have a real, see, people say the medical system is broken. That's not true. That's who they are. That's what they do. They're not broken. You try to use the medical system when they're emergency care for health care, and you're going to have trouble. You know, it's like this. Hey, you know what? I was constipated the other day, and guess what? I just wanted to clean out. So I just took some Drano, and I just stirred that and drank it. So yeah, you're going to clean out, but you're also going to burn out. So the reality is you just can't use Drano when, just like you can't use emergency care for health care and do it every day. You'll become a 911. Where was I? Huh? Hemorrhoid. Yeah, that's what I am, a pain in everybody's butt right about now. Okay, so understand this, that when you push down with your diaphragm, does anybody know where hiatal hernias come from? From pushing down with your diaphragm on the toilet, not from moving the couch. And who gets hiatal hernias more than anyone else is men. And they'll move something or lift something, and they'll, well, of course, because what happens when you push the diaphragm down to go poo, because most men are constipated because they can't let go and they can't grow. They also can't feel because they have to suppress their emotions. Okay? All right. So the reality is when you push down the diaphragm, the stomach valve pops up higher. And that's why you're spewing hydrochloric acid and getting heartburn, and you're going to get lung cancer, or you're going to get esophageal cancer from it. So those people who get that need to make sure that they're doing a rounded teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of warm water first thing in the morning, and then you want to do it early in the afternoon twice a day until you decide you're going to get a perfect day consult and learn how to heal yourself. And understand, if you've got a hiatal hernia, just know this. Is this true that I can reverse a hiatal hernia in 10 minutes? Yes. That's long, usually 5, right? Yes. But if it's really calcified, it'll take me 10 minutes to reverse your hiatal hernia. I swear to God, okay? And inguinal hernia is different. That's where the peritoneum lining is rotted out and part of your intestine is popping out because you're rotting out. So that is going to take you to do things like perfect day diet, advanced water fasting, ultimate coffee enema, Okay, learning how to, well, I'm not going to get into it all. You know what? If people want it, they're going to pay $150, but most people aren't worth $150, are they? No, that's right. That's right. And they're not worth it because they've been programmed that way. Not because they're not because they're stupid, and I did not say that. It's because they're programmed that they're not worth it. And the other thing is guess what? If you change and you live with another family member that doesn't believe in changing, how difficult it's going to be. You know, I can remember that I used to smoke cigarettes so I could have a better relationship with the person who smoked cigarettes. I would drink alcohol even though I didn't want to because I wanted to have a relationship and I needed someone else to love me. I can remember eating food, and that's what you're all doing. You're still all eating crap food because you just want people to love you and you think that they're going to love you and that's just going to be Jim Dandy. Well, you're very foolish. Very foolish. Okay, and I'm very foolish. I'm part of you. You're part of me. And these psychos are never going to change. They're always going to strategize. They don't like each other, but we don't like each other either. We don't even like ourselves, but we won't sit down and strategize on how we could have a better world, will we? No, we'll attack the blacks, the East Indians, okay? We'll attack ourselves. We'll attack our family. We'll attack ourselves. And we'll attack somebody with a different religion. I think everybody should be allowed their religion, whatever they want to do, whatever they want. It's their trip. Okay, if you want one, don't want one. Just think, the Jews have what, 55 commandments? Okay, the Christians have 10. So, depends on what you like. There's an assortment, a variety. Just like you go to a buffet, you pick the food you like, and come down here, you pick the religion you like. If you don't want a religion, pick the beliefs you like. If you don't want to do that, pick the color of woman you want to marry. I think it's amazing. And I think with everybody with all these different beliefs, it's very entertaining. Everybody says, I wish my life would just slow down and get boring. Really? Is that what you want? No, I want adventure. Oh my God, I just love all the different women. Okay? Men are pretty all the same. They've got a stick up their butt so far that it's a toothpick for their teeth. The reality is men stopped growing a long time ago. Only one out of very few men have embraced their feminine side to actually understand that if we don't embrace the feminine, we're all going to die. Because a man looks at a tree and sees a picnic table. All right? And that's it. And they don't want to be bothered about anything. Take a look at the average man. He goes to work and he comes home and he goes, I worked all day and my job is over. A woman will work all day and come home and know her job's just starting. A man's job just starts when he opens the door. He should be the powerhouse. He should be the protector. He should be making sure the Wi-Fi goes off. He should be making sure about no chemicals come into the home. He should be making sure that everybody is safe in the home. And they don't do that. Men are oblivious. I don't even know. I don't even want to talk about it. It's just beyond. And guess what, guys? You've been programmed, but still, you have a choice to rise. Like you haven't noticed we've been castrated? Okay. Next. So let's go here, and I want to show you something. This would be, there we go, we're at the end. So this would be the female body. So here's the female body right here. What a beautiful body. Okay? And as you can see, fallopian tube, ovum, ovaries, appendix, rectum, bladder, uterus, it's all there. Okay, and guys, prostate, bladder, that's it. Women, okay, men have 2 bells and whistles, women have 20. Women are not psychotic. They are the canary in the coal mine. Okay, women bring life into the world. They welcome the spirit into their womb. Okay, to then create a physical body for the spirit. So the reality is they need to have 20 times more bells and whistles. See, when I was younger, they used to spade women. That would be called a total hysterectomy, just because they were depressed, they had anxiety, okay, they were frustrated. And that's because men, back when I was a child, at least most of the men that I knew, my father was a born-again Christian pastor. I was raised that women were made from man's ribs. And I don't know if I told you the story before, but I said to my father when I was younger, and I said, Dad, I counted my ribs, they're all there, and I got a slap in the face. That was the end of that story. But the reality is I always loved women, but I never respected them. Not until I was around 30. Around 30, I started to wake up. Yeah, they were equals. Well, actually, they're more than equals. You know, if I don't learn how to find the feminine in me, I'm going to destroy myself and the planet. 5,000 years ago, go into my library and watch I Am Woman, and watch the history of how religion and government came together to destroy the feminine. Okay? So what we got here is we've got women were in power, that power was taken away. Okay, and men were put into power. Men run the medical system. Look at the Catholic Church or any church. They pretty well run the church. It's to keep the masculine in. Whether you believe it or not, men run the churches, men run the medical system, they run the government, men run the wars. Okay? Okay? Men are the whores. And the reality is that is why the planet is going to meet at sixth extinction now. Okay? And the reality is this is all the doings of Rockefellers, Rothschilds. They go back thousands of years. The Queen, go follow her family back, and queen my ass, will you? And clean my ass, I should say. But the reality is that we've all been ruled, schooled, and fooled, and I'm not going to play the game anymore. There will come a day that I won't even do these. I won't do these trainings. Because I'll get to the point where my father served as a pastor, and I don't know what I'm serving as. Okay, and but I believe that we all need to serve each other. My father used to say that we all needed to serve each other, and I went, screw that, I'm not doing it, because he was always miserable. So he was serving people, but he was always miserable. So I never wanted to serve anyone, right? And I felt that was self-loathing. But the reality is, if we're not going to serve each other, care for each other, love each other, and please don't care or love me until you know how to care and love for yourself, because you're just going to abuse me and you're going to call that love and care. And that's the truth. A lot of us are trying to love and care for our families, but we don't even know what that is. Okay, it's very abusive. If you love me properly, I'll love you back. And if you don't, guess what? We're not making love tonight. And you're not getting a hug. You're not getting anything. It's called love ransom. And I'll tell you something. I would never get married. Okay? My partner and I, we're spirit beings, and we talk about it all the time. And we are here for so many reasons, on so many different levels. We are not man and wife. That's BS. I would never get married as a man and wife again, or a husband and wife. That is awful, 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 awful. I mean, there's hardly any couple out there, that are happy and joyful. They're not. Until you love and care for yourself first and foremost, you don't know how to care for the other person. My God, look at what we do to ourselves and our children. And they teach us to not respect ourselves. We'll end up having children before we even know how to eat or treat with ourselves, less feed our children. We don't even love ourselves, but now we're going to love our children properly. This is the mess up, and it's going to continue forever, but you don't have to be part of it. You don't have to be part of it. And I'm never going to be part of it again. I'm actually going to be the part that I am right now, is tell people that they do have a choice. And guess what? It's not selfish to totally love and care for yourself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help you God. Okay, so what we get is we've got, right here. So this is a proper large intestine, but this is the average woman of 40 years old. How do you like it? So look at how it's dropped the transverse colon down to here. Look what it's done to all of this preciousness down here. This is the holy grail for women. This is why we put together the 3-day pelvic course that's going to happen in Stewart. I am so blown away by the course is not full. My God, Australia, they are jammed. They're jamming it. All these women, and every woman has vaginal problems. Don't tell me you don't, on an emotional and physical level. And it's a 3-day course, And guess what? There's 4 people in the course so far. Seriously. This is the disrespect that you will hold for yourself. And why? Because your whole pelvic area and vagina has been disrespected by men in your family, and also by men that rule the medical system forever. And meanwhile, the Holy Grail is a man and woman's pelvis. And that's what this course is all about. And I guarantee most women here haven't even thought about joining it. Because you know what? You don't want to touch that dirty thing down here. Okay? Sex is dirty. It's dirty. Playing with yourself is dirty. Who made that up? Who made that up? Pleasuring yourself is not dirty. And the reality is this. Guess what? Your vagina, your ovaries, your uterus, your bladder, your fallopian tubes, they could be brand new, young again. They don't have to be dry. They don't have to be smelly. It doesn't have to be saggy. It doesn't have to hurt. You could have it all reversed. We have the most powerful pelvic course in the world for women. And it's inexpensive. And once you join it, then you can join all of the master classes every week. My God, get in touch with your feminine power. You know, in a year from now, we'll have a men's class. But that one will probably be only 10 minutes because they won't be able to focus. Okay, no, I'm kidding. We will have one, but we cannot do it until we have enough women understanding the power of this. How would you like to not have your man not have a problem getting it up? How would you like to know he's never going to get prostate inflammation or cancer or bladder infections? How would you like to not have any problem down here? None. Well, I don't really know, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 women in here, and we have 4 in the course. Think about that. How crazy is that? Yeah. Okay. So anyways, did I make you feel bad? Wasn't trying. Okay.
I'm in the course.
What?
It didn't make me feel bad. I'm in the course.
I know. Well, you're on course. That's obvious. Okay. So now when this falls down, it crushes all of this. So what do you think it does to your low back? What do you think it does to your hips? This person here is going to have hip surgery. Hip surgery is caused because of pooping in the pelvis. And you see how the stomach fell down? All the stomach acid is in the bottom because before it was on a slant like this, now it's straight up and down. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Yeah. And just know this is 99 out of 100 women by the time you're 40. Well, actually, if you really want to know right now, it's by the time you're 26 or 27. Okay? Just so you know. It was 40. Okay? And that was only 15 years ago. In 15 years, okay, ready for this? Okay. So just to give you an idea, a man would reach his sexual potential at 50. And he was good till 75 or 85. A man now reaches his sexual potential at 25. And it is gone by 35. Welcome to blue light, EMF, and processed foods, and not one beer but 20, not one taco chip but 100, not one scoop of ice cream but a liter. And honey, are you full yet? Burp, fart. The only reason why he got from the kitchen table to the couch was because he farted and it blew him there. Okay, now, there's a regular male body, and then there's what a colon should look like, and this is it again. It's jammed down on the prostate. There's not a person alive that doesn't have a prostate problem, okay, that hasn't got their large intestine pooping into the pelvis and sitting and crushing the prostate. You can go to any natural practitioner, they're never even going to tell you that. Forget the medical ones. You know, unless they can go in and chop something out, or they can radiate it, or chemotherapy it, or they can drug it, you're not in their league. So what do you think it would take? Well, we could go in there and use non-surgical because this is adhesed now. It's stuck down here. And then we gotta get rid of the adhesions here. And then we got to teach you how to do pelvic exercises, and we're going to slowly pull that back up. But what if you were to eat a high vibrational diet? Would that make any issues in your tissues go away? Are you like out of your mind? Anything that you created on a subconscious level that's killing you right now if you become conscious and you have focus and you mind your own business and do not listen to your family. Do not listen to anybody you ever went to for healthcare. Do not listen to anyone and just have focus, get a strategy, and guess what? Are you ready for this? 10 days to 6 weeks, they'll all shut their mouth because you'll already be out of the fire. Now, if you've got a life-threatening stage 3 or 4 cancer, give me 6 weeks to 3 months. Remember something, the deeper the hole, the longer the ladder. Don't think that you can have a 20-foot hole and put a 5-foot ladder and then climb it 4 times and you're out. Well, that's the way you treat your life, isn't it? And then guess what? You'll go get the same broken ladder that everybody else gets and gets the sugar results. It's 10 to 3. We're almost free. Okay, and then you'll get the same results, okay, as everyone else. And you think that's good enough? Let me tell you something. These psychos, you ever see how long they live? Oh, but God will get them? God's not coming after them. You guys are so full of it. They have programmed you. They'll get theirs. Yeah, you actually think that, you know, the whole politics thing, the whole thing is all put on a show for you. They'll get theirs. When are you going to get yours? Well, I'll tell you, you're getting it up your butt every day. Okay, everybody? Just know this. Love yourself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. And you know what? I might have set you off a little bit. Let's see how fast you can come back to loving yourself, because I'm not going to know that I upset you. So at least if you're really upset, you can text me at 469-861-8884 and say, you really upset me, Dr. Wolfe. And then I'll go back and I'll go, well, I just wanted to stir it up a little bit. I apologize if I upset you, but just understand something. You're programmed that if someone's beliefs are different than yours, you're meant to hate them. You think about that. Have a beautiful day. Have all the love in the world for yourself and everyone else.